come to Wales, and we've come in the Subaru BRZ. Why have we come to Wales? Well, Wales has some of the best driving roads in the world, I think. Why the BRZ? Well, there are two reasons. Firstly, both the Toyota GT86 and the Subaru BRZ, not Z, are about to get updated for 2017. We thought it'd be nice just to reacquaint ourselves with the older versions. Also, the BRZ and the GT86 for that matter are both very accessible, fun performance cars. They represent a really affordable entry point into the world of sports cars and fun driving, because that's what this car is all about. There are so many things that Toyota and Subaru could have done that would have completely changed the character of this car, but they decided to make it in the way that they made it to get a certain type of audience in who perhaps weren't interested in outright speed, weren't interested in lap times, they were just interested in the fun of driving. Let's start with the basics first of all, how it looks. Now perhaps I'm 4 years late to the party, but I think the BRZ looks really, really smart, particularly in blue. Design-wise as well, it's a very, very simple car. Simplicity is good. Inside, this particular car feels quite dated. There's no sat-nav, there's just an old-fashioned manual kind of radio with a CD player. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but it is very, very simple compared to what you might get in, say, an MX-5. But where you sit is perfect. The seats are bucket seats, but they're not obscene buckets. They're really, really tight and they just hold you really well. And then everything around you, like the steering wheel and the gear lever and the handbrake, everything is perfectly positioned. You can get yourself really, really comfortable in the car very easily. Everything that you interact with, like the steering and the gear lever, feels very mechanical and really, really positive. You know exactly what it's going to do next and you can't get it wrong, basically. The engine is a 2-litre 4-cylinder boxer engine, naturally aspirated. There's no turbo, there's no supercharger, nothing like that. It's just a normal 4-cylinder boxer engine. It's got 200 brake horsepower and 151 foot-pounds of torque. 0 to 60, 7.6 seconds, and the top speed is about 140 miles an hour. Between 4,500 and 6,500 is when the engine really takes off, so it doesn't have a lot of torque low down, so you need to rev it to get the most out of it. And fuel economy, well, you might say it's a bit boring, but Subaru reckon you can get about 36 miles to the gallon out of this car, and that is exactly what we've been getting. Plus on the motorway we've been getting more, we've been getting about 42 miles to the gallon, which is really quite good. It doesn't make a particularly nice noise, but again, that isn't what this car is about. It's just about the overall experience. The gearbox is a 6-speed manual gearbox, and it is really, really slick and really, really easy to use, and it feels, as I said, very mechanical. You know exactly what gear you're going into. The ride is quite firm, but the tyres do soak up a lot of the bumps for you, and actually we did 250 miles to get here this morning and we didn't get out with sore backs. It is still a very comfortable car. The steering has weight to it right from the centre, and it's a consistent weight, and it just feels so nice. You know exactly what the front tyres are doing, you could feel what kind of road surface you're on, and it just makes the overall driving experience really, really nice because you just feel in control all of the time. You could get into cars that cost 20, 30, 40, 50,000 pounds more than this, and they don't have as good a steering as this car does. The brakes are ventilated front and back, but they're not very big brakes. But then again, this car doesn't need huge brakes to get it stopped because it only weighs 1,200 kilos. Down here on the centre console as well, you've got 2 buttons, and they control the traction control and the stability control. So you can drive along without the traction control on, but the stability control still turned on. You can drive with the stability control in a sport mode that allows a little bit more movement, or you can turn it all off. And that's really important because this car is rear wheel drive and has a mechanical limited slip diff at the back. And Toyota and Subaru deliberately put very, very skinny tyres on this car to make it easier to move around. It's all about the sensation and the fun of driving. So stickier rubber wouldn't help. The long and the short of this is, I love this car. It's not the favourite car I've ever driven, it's not the fastest car I've ever driven, but it is one of the most fun cars that you could hope to buy. I'm so happy that both Toyota and Subaru decided to do something different, not to chase lap times or speed. They just wanted to make a car fun for people to enjoy, for people to go out on roads like this, to have fun in a small car and that it won't cost the world to run. Just go out and buy one, or just go out and drive one, and come to Wales. Borrow one, and then come to Wales.